All right, Gregor, how's it feel to be the bad guy coming in here and taking down the hometown guy and hearing those boos after that performance?
No, I mean, I heard more of the boos when I was walking out, and then I noticed a lot of cheering for him when he was walking out. Clearly, you know, I've been the hometown guy the last 2 fights, and that's always really nice. But I've said this in my pre-fight interviews too. When the cage shots, it's still a fight. You can put it in a hockey arena in Alabama, or you can put it in a stadium in Montana. It doesn't matter. Once the cage door closes, it's still a cage. You know, the crowd doesn't win or lose the fight for anyone. But I think it's nice fighting at home in front of a hometown crowd.
And I think you mentioned you started saying something inside the cage. When are people going to start doubting your hands? I think everybody comes in and says, "Oh, he's a wrestler. He's a wrestler guy."
Sure.
But I mean, do you think people misjudge your hands and your strength?
Well, I think Anik actually said after the fight, you know, he heard Keith Trimble, my striking coach from Belmore Kickboxing, acknowledging the fact that every time I touch him, it hurts someone, you know, and it's like, it's true. And if I land a punch, I can hit pretty hard, and I do have power. But again, I'll never stray away from my wrestling. If you're a great wrestler, you're going to do what you do best. And the battle is to mesh the two, striking into takedowns, fake takedowns into striking. So that's what the battle to get better at.
How closely did this play out to what you thought that the fight would be, and what was the game plan coming into this one?
Yeah, that's a tough question to answer because my game plan is always the same: strikes to takedown to dominant position to punching if it opens up to submission, or if the punches are clean and they go through, you finish with the punches on top. But the game plan went just like that. But as a you know, to explain, is it based off of what my guy does, the opponent does? No, it's never that. Because honestly, I literally hadn't seen a second of film on him.
Really?
I don't watch film. My coaches do, and they train me accordingly. I started to recognize towards the end of training camp, that they had me throwing more uppercuts. So I started to figure maybe he dips his head off to the side, and I started blocking more uppercuts in practice. You know, when we're doing mitts, my coach was having me block more, so maybe it was, you know. So, you know, you recognize these things after. But I don't need to be obsessed with what the other guy does. I'm not losing sleep over that. I like to envision myself and visualize myself getting that takedown, getting that dominant position, getting to the point where I can punch hard on top. And I mean, I think visualization is a really big thing. It's a real thing. And if you start visualizing what the other guy does, you start forgetting what you do.
Do you think that's part of the keys to staying undefeated, just keeping focus on what you need to do? I mean, what is the key? I mean, you've been such a successful fighter.
I think I compete really well. I've competed well my entire life. I think that I've put more hard work into fighting than I did wrestling. And I'm not saying I didn't work hard in wrestling. I did. But I was still a kid when I was wrestling, and I did what kids do. They have fun when probably they shouldn't. And now it's all business. And I think that with my ability and my skill of being able to compete, which is a skill, definitely is a skill, I think it's just bringing out the best of what I'm capable of.
And I know you just found out about you didn't get any bonuses tonight, but is that a little bummed? Or after watching those fights, are you happy for the guys that got it?
Hey, man, I'm always happy when someone else puts on a great show, too. I'm not, you know, I like money and I like getting paid more. But I think those guys that got the bonuses, I don't know if they've been announced yet, but from what I heard, the guys that got them, they deserved them. And I think, you know, I had a great performance, and I think on par with what I've been doing. But I think there were other great fights tonight.
Should we be seeing a ranking next to your name here?
I have no idea, and I don't really know. I'm not going to say I don't care, but ranking doesn't really mean anything. It's, what is it, an intimidation factor? I don't really get what that is, what that's for. You know, you've signed your contract at a certain amount of dollars, so until you're done with that contract, you can't negotiate anything for your next fight. So if I get a ranking, it doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point. It doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, how busy do you want to be in 2018, and who makes sense for you next?
So I've said this like maybe 3 or 4 times now tonight, and I'm going to just repeat it again. I'll fight, and you put a guy in front of me, I'll fight him and I'll win. But I'm not going to call people out and jump through hoops, and that's just not me. I'm here to entertain with my fights. I'm not here to entertain on camera. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. But I promise you'll like how I fight. But as a person, I'm not the guy who's going to jump through hoops and, you know, do a circus act to call someone out. That's not me. I'll fight the guy in front of me, and that's it. And I'll probably win. And that's me. I'm not going to jump through hoops calling people out.
I love it. Congratulations.
Cool.
Thanks so much.